Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, day 4 of the 30-day film challenge, and today the prompt was pick a movie with a number in the title, and of course I chose 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is by far my favorite Cloverfield movie, although I love the original Cloverfield. I think that movie has its own special place in everybody's hearts as that found footage movie that just really blew people away, and I wasn't around the time when that movie first came out in theaters. I never saw it in theaters. I saw it much later on when this movie was about to come out. And what I did for this most recent watch of this movie was I watched it with my family, and they don't know what Cloverfield is. They don't know the whole marketing scheme that they did with all three movies. They don't know that it's an alien movie, really. And so when they watched this, they thought it was a really, really tense captivity thriller with a weird twist of whether or not John Goodman's character was crazy or if he was right. And so in this video, I wanted to just talk about spoilers, of course, with all of these reviews for my 30-day film challenge. But what I wanted to talk about for this movie was really get into how this movie really plays with emotions and knows exactly what the right time is to reveal something. Because that's what this movie does excellently. Because for the first, almost really until the last 20 minutes, this is a really, really solid captivity thriller that is just incredible. It's really tense. The characters are very fleshed out, maybe minus John Gallagher Jr.'s character, although I think he has some really good moments and he's extremely likable. And you kind of don't know whether or not to trust him at first, but then you really get that relationship between him and Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, which both of them are incredible, but John Goodman is the star of this movie. He is so good because you really don't know what side he's on for the entire time. So of course the premise of this movie is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character is kind of on the run. She's known for kind of leaving things behind when things get difficult. She says that in a really great monologue. She's great in this movie, and she's off on the road, and she goes off-road and she has a really bad accident, which has an awesome cool trick with the sound where it drops out every time a logo pops up or a title pops up. It's really cool. I love all of that for the beginning of this movie. But she wakes up in this bunker, and John Goodman's character tells her that, okay, the world has essentially ended. There was a nuclear fallout or some sort of fallout above ground. The air is no longer breathable, and he saved her, and she's going to be down there for possibly a year or two, maybe even longer, depending on how bad it is up there. And so you find out more about this whole situation through John Goodman's character and through John Gallagher Jr.'s character of how this could be something greater than just either Russia coming in to take out the U.S. by taking out major cities, or some outside force that's doing this that could possibly be extraterrestrials. And that's what really makes you think that this guy is just nuts and he kidnapped her and she just woke up down here, and it's just really, really creepy situation because this guy has a very, very thin line where he kind of bursts out in anger at just moments of really, really tense moments of awkwardness between the three people at like a dinner scene, and just the slightest thing makes him go off, and that's where it gets really uncomfortable. This movie makes you really uncomfortable in the best ways possible, and that's when, she tries to break out for the first, or for I guess the second time she tries to break out, where she gets up there and she sees that this woman her skin is melting off, and it's really, really terrifying. And it's a great scene where she accepts the fact that, okay, maybe something is going on out there. Maybe this guy, he's a little off his edge, but maybe this is the safest place to be. That's a great point to reveal it, to have a little time jump of them, a montage of them having fun or just getting used to life in this bunker, which is also very reminiscent of our world right now, everybody being in quarantine. And all the while you hear about John Goodman's daughter Megan and these stories that he has about her, and it starts to get a little weird and you're not sure who this Megan person is, if it's really his daughter or not. And you find out after Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Gallagher Jr. have a conversation about her about this photos, he says that was not Megan, and that it was this girl that went missing a couple years ago. And you find out that, yes, John Goodman's character is definitely a creep. He is not okay. He is definitely insane. And although you've had hints of him being insane before, that's when you know this guy has done some terrible things in this bunker to people, and she wants to get out. But at the same time, she really doesn't know, because she is convinced that there is something going on the surface that she is not completely aware of. So they hatch this plan to kind of make this hazmat suit out of the curtain, the shower curtain that has a duck on it. That's really funny. And there's such a great scene when you find this out, and John Goodman walks into the room and he starts playing music and starts dancing. And it's just such a perfect reveal of, this guy is insane. but he's playing along with them as if he's not, and it's really creepy. And from this point on, the movie gets incredible to the point where John Goodman finds out, and he kills John Gallagher Jr.'s character in a brutal way and melts him in acid, which is really gross. It's awesome. And her final breakouts of trying to get out of this place, going through the vents as she did earlier in the movie, trying to get the air back working. And it was very intense, and him trying to stab her through the air vent, which you've seen in a lot of different movies, but works really well here. And this whole captivity thing, she's trying to break out, she gets on the hazmat suit, and she finally leaves the place, and she takes off her mask because she sees birds in the air, and she can breathe fine. And so at that point, this is yet another reveal of this guy was completely insane. Maybe there was nothing going on out here at all. And it's really funny because she gets out there, she's all intense, she cuts a hole in her suit, and she freaks out over nothing. But then you get the last 20 minutes of this movie, and if you don't know what Cloverfield is at this point of watching this movie, it's where it kind of gets insane. And maybe this movie on its own, if it ended right there and she just drove off, that's a really great captivity thriller. But what makes this a Cloverfield movie is she sees a ship over out in the distance, and she makes a noise with the car, and the ship starts getting closer to her, and these like mechanical tentacle arms start coming out of the ship, and it's a full-on alien invasion ship. This creature looks really cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Quiet Place in some scenes. Reminds me a lot of War of the Worlds in other scenes, especially when she takes out this giant ship. And it also reminded me of Signs, just because of location, because of the intensity and the way it's shot reminded me of Signs. So a lot of cool sci-fi different alien invasion movies that they're pulling for to make this really tense final 20 minutes that is just awesome. She's a very smart character, very resourceful. She gets the bottle mix, lights it on fire and throws it into the machine, just like in War of the Worlds. So maybe you can say some originality is lacking there. But she wipes this thing out, and she's off driving. You see the mailbox that says 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's a whole thing. The movie's about to end, and then she hears a radio transmission that says, "We are winning," and they are trying to take down these aliens, and they might be able to pull it off, and they're asking for more help in Houston, and she's at a crossroads. She can either go to Houston or go to a safe zone. And what does she do? Because she is such a badass, she decides to go down to Houston to help the resistance fight off these aliens. And credits. This movie's insane. Like, the last 20 minutes is just bonkers. It's kind of hard to explain, and not just like, you have to just see it, because you get this really intense captivity thriller throughout the first hour and a half of this movie, and the last 20 to 15 minutes of the movie is just bonkers. It gets insane, and it's everything you want from a Cloverfield movie. Was this originally a Cloverfield movie? Honestly, I don't think so. There's only one reference to John Goodman's character working at a satellite place, which I'm sure you've heard of if you're a fan of Cloverfield. The satellite falling into the water, waking up the original monster. That's the only reference. And of course you get the whole Cloverfield paradox thing that kind of explains the universe, with it being a bunch of different parallel Earths, and on each Earth will have a different monster depending on how this explosion on the station affected all the worlds. And it's kind of a mess. It's a fine explanation, but this is a great anthology series, and I wish they would make more. The movie Overlord, I wish that was a Cloverfield movie, because it kind of does feel like one. But I don't know. I love J.J. Abrams and Bad Robots. I love a lot of the things that they do when it comes to original sci-fi stuff, because we will get into another original sci-fi from Bad Robot later on that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But for now, that is going to be the little analysis review of just me absolutely raving about 10 Cloverfield Lane. If you guys have not seen it, definitely go check it out, even though I spoiled the crap out of it. It's definitely a fun experience, very tense, great performances all around, and it's an excellent movie. So go check out 10 Cloverfield Lane. That is day 4 of the 30-day film challenge. What's your favorite movie with a number in it? I was going to pick Blade Runner 2049 for this one, but I decided to do it for the previous one, the movie that starts with a B. Day 5 is a film where a character has a job that you want. That is the prompt for tomorrow's episode, and I'm going to pick Seven Psychopaths, which I've only seen one time, and I don't remember loving the movie the first time I saw it, maybe because it was a little overhyped, but I did see it several years ago, so maybe on a rewatch I'll really like that movie again. So that's going to be my pick for tomorrow. Thanks guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below what you guys think of 10 Cloverfield Lane, or any movie with a number in it to let me know your pick. So thanks guys for watching. See you all in my next one.